Is remote work really dead in 2026? Or think about this. Would you gladly give up 25% of your salary just to keep it? Like actually take a pay cut to avoid the office? Well, a recent Harvard Business School survey showed a lot of tech workers would do exactly that. It's a pretty provocative question, right? I mean, if you just glance at the mainstream headlines lately, you'd probably think the era of working from your living room is completely over, done. But today, we're going to look past the headlines and dive right into the hard data, giving you an absolute insider's look into the true state of remote work.
Because despite all those loud, aggressive return-to-office mandates you keep reading about, guess what? 34.3 million Americans are currently working remotely right now. 34.3 million. That's roughly 22% of the workforce. And according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that number hasn't plummeted at all. In fact, it's barely budged since early 2023. So that massive pandemic-era surge, it didn't just disappear into thin air. It actually stabilized into a very permanent new normal.
So welcome to this explainer. If you're a focused learner looking to just cut through all the noise, you are absolutely in the right place. Today we're diving deep into the latest source material and labor data to unpack the exact tactical tools you need. We're talking about how to navigate and actually win remote roles in today's fiercely competitive, globally distributed economy.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to kick things off with a macro view by looking at the true state of remote work. Then we'll move into finding the hidden jobs, beating the recruiter algorithm, tackling the global language gatekeeper, and finally, we'll zoom all the way down to micro-level tactics for acing the AI interview.
All right, Section 1, the state of remote work.
To completely debunk this whole mainstream media myth that flexibility is fading away, we really just need to look at the numbers. When you look at remote-capable workers, 51% are hybrid, 28% are fully remote, and only 21% are fully in office. So hybrid is absolutely king here. Over half of the workforce that can actually work from home is now splitting their time between the house and the office. Blanket mandates are failing, and structured flexibility is totally winning.
Now you might be wondering, why are workers fighting so incredibly hard to keep this flexibility? Well, just think about the math. The average American one-way commute is 26 minutes. Over the course of a year, that equates to 9 full days just sitting in transit. Just sitting there. And if you happen to have a 60-minute commute, that steals nearly 21 full days from you. That is almost an entire month of your life every single year, completely wasted sitting in traffic or on a train. When you frame it emotionally like that, it's really no wonder people are fiercely protecting their remote days. And because remote work is so highly desired and so aggressively protected, the competition for publicly listed roles is, quite frankly, astronomical.
Which brings us to Section 2, finding the hidden jobs.
So, to bypass all that astronomical competition, we really need to shift our focus to where the real opportunities actually live. The crucial point here from our sources is that companies, well, they simply do not standardize their job titles. It's kind of chaotic. If you're exclusively searching for something like graphic designer on major job boards, you are missing a massive chunk of the market purely because of semantics. Instead, you've got to use alternate search terms, things like brand designer, visual communications specialist, content designer, digital designer, or multimedia designer. You have to start searching the exact way hiring managers are actually posting these jobs.
Furthermore, you've really got to look beyond big tech. Let me let you in on a little industry secret. Searching major boards like Indeed or LinkedIn for generic titles, it's just way too noisy. Everyone is doing it. The most stable remote work out there right now is actually found through specialized niche boards, like Media Bistro for Creatives, for instance, or by targeting unexpected international organizations, NGOs, and global publishers. These organizations desperately need distributed talent, but they don't always show up on your standard everyday job feeds.
All right, moving on to Section 3, beating the recruiter algorithm.
Once you know what to look for, you've got to make sure you can actually be found, right? We need to look at exactly how gatekeepers are searching through a talent pool of over 1 billion profiles. Now, recruiters don't really want you to know this, but what candidates think matters is actually very different from reality. Most candidates either obsess over or completely ignore the specific skills section on their profile. But because that section is so frequently left blank by people, recruiters heavily rely on Boolean keyword searches across your entire profile text instead. It's a real game changer when you realize this. Because if you know Python, for example, but it's only buried in your summary and not your formal skill section, a Boolean keyword search is still going to find you.
And here is the ultimate recruiter secret. For recruiters using the corporate platform, combining the open to work spotlight with the filter, years in current position 2 or more, creates the absolute highest response rate candidate pool. So if you're a job seeker, making sure your profile clearly reflects over 2 years in your current role while quietly signaling that you're open to work, That makes you absolute gold to headhunters, literally top of the pile.
That leads us right into Section 4, the global language gatekeeper.
So, another massive hurdle for the distributed workforce is proving your communication skills to international employers. I mean, in a remote environment, communication is literally everything. The global standard for this is the CEFR scale, and hitting a B2, which is an upper intermediate level, is the absolute baseline required for most white-collar remote roles today. But here's the harsh reality. Hitting B2, that just lands your resume in the maybe pile. Hitting C1 or higher them, that is your direct shortcut to the interview shortlist, management positions, and of course, significantly higher salary brackets.
Just notice the sheer difference in cost and results time between the different language certificates out there. Look at how the International English Test, or IET, compares to traditional heavyweights like IELTS or TOEFL. At just $49 with instant digital results, it compares incredibly favorably in both speed and cost. That makes it a massive advantage for digital nomads and remote workers who need really quick verification for fast-moving job applications or visa requirements. It's a total no-brainer.
All right, final section, Section 5, Acing the AI Interview.
Okay, so you've found the hidden jobs, you've beaten the recruiter algorithm, and you've proven your fluency. Now we need to zoom in on the final step of the funnel to equip you with the ultimate individual applicant toolkit. Prepare to be a little shocked by this number, 33. The average job seeker spends only 33 minutes preparing for an interview. 33 minutes! In a global, highly competitive remote market, winging an interview with just 33 minutes of prep is a massive missed opportunity. Honestly, it almost guarantees you won't get the offer.
And a really big part of the problem here is how people prep. Relying on generic prep, those 50 canned questions you find on Google that literally haven't changed since 2010, that is going to completely fail you in 2026. Interviewers today are asking highly specific behavioral questions. You absolutely must use targeted prep. AI tools like ApplyArc are a game changer here because they allow you to paste in the exact job description to generate role-specific questions and frameworks that are tailored entirely to the company you're actually speaking to.
And when you do answer those targeted questions, you have to structure them properly. Stick to the STAR method: situation, task, action, result. First, set the scene. Then explain your specific responsibility. Next, detail the exact action that you took, not your team, but you. And finally, end with the quantified outcome. The real key here? Practice your STAR answers out loud and keep them under 90 seconds. Anything longer than a minute and a half, and you are for sure going to lose the interviewer's attention on a video call.
Which brings us to our final, somewhat provocative thought. The World Economic Forum projects that by 2030, macro trends in AI will create 170 million new jobs while displacing 92 million. So it's a net gain, but it involves massive, massive churn. The remote work world isn't shrinking, guys. It is evolving. The real question is, are you utilizing the targeted search tactics, the profile optimizations, and the interview tools we unpacked from the data today fast enough to claim your spot in this new global workforce? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you in the next one.